Welcome back, my friends. I'm at Screwmatics here in South Carolina today. One of those companies that have well known, 36 years in the making, adapted automation, making 200 more parts per day thanks to automation with 4 hours of unattended operation. But it can be more. However, Billy, you and I both know it didn't start out on the best of times, did it, when it came to implementing automation?
Not at all.
And I bring that up, Billy, because there is a world of people out there, two sets of people. One, they're gonna feel everything you're saying about also struggling, and two, are scared to jump in or afraid to jump in because of this current situation that you had to go through as well. So Billy, let's talk about, although immense success right now, and also excitement for the future, it didn't start out that way. How did it start, my friend?
Yeah, no, luckily, we're in a great position now, but 10 years ago, we had a medical part that was very high volume, had 800,000 pieces due of 4 different components. And, our claim to fame is we will rough out something on a screw machine and then come and do a second or third op on a CNC machine, if that is the process that makes sense. And for this particular instance, it made sense. And at 800,000 pieces times 4, that's a lot of work.
That's a lot of work.
And that's a lot of human interaction. So it just made sense 10 years ago. We're going to step our toes into some automation. And, we are screw machinists, CNC machinists, Swiss machinists. We know machining. We don't know automation. So we called in a group. They come in, and we went with a Fanuc industrial robot. And, it's very pricey. We probably had around $150,000 in that. And we had about 4 months of trying to get it up and going. We got it up and going, but it wasn't reliable. It would run maybe 2 hours. It would lose its position. And then the integrator wasn't the greatest at working with us to train us on how to fix that issue, so they would charge us a service call. Service call is very complicated to program. We can program machines all day, but the Fanuc robot, not so much. So we ended up getting fed up with it. It would not produce as many parts as a human would. We probably had like 15 to 20 at some time humans running these different cells, and the robot it became a joke in the shop. And, that's something I tried to lead up, and it was a little bit embarrassing for me. It was a failure. So we took it offline, and we stuck it in the corner and it's been sitting for 10 years.
Billy, 15 years, it had to be expensive, time-consuming, frustrating. Not only that, but the backlash of what comes with that is you have probably yourself, certainly some employees that now are going to be hesitant on any automation moving into the future. And if we're being honest with ourselves, we kind of have to. Even in a production world, with labor shortages we have, with global competition that we have, to stay competitive, we have to implement automation. So to have that fear, to have that big boat anchor in the corner of the shop that everyone's like, I don't want to do this anymore. That in itself is a psychological misdemeanor, I would say, of how to move forward. And that was felt throughout the shop. It wasn't just you. Your shop employees felt it as well, didn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. We ended up getting that under control. We were able at that time to hire enough people, invest in the people, invest in their training, which we still do today. But, as with any shop, or at least with us, what we want to do is our model is we're expanding, we're building. We want to be, we want to take on more volume. We didn't want to stop with this one product that's 4 parts, 800,000 pieces. We have to have some depth, so we've taken on several other jobs. And then this particular one, this is very high volume. Right now I have 44 different part numbers, and they're all very similar, just different sizes. And some of those are absolutely one operation complete, put them in Swiss machines. We have about 40 Swiss machines. I'll stack them in there, run them lights out. It runs great. But then these larger sizes, the math just makes sense. First operation, multi-spindle screw machine. Second operation in a gang tool machine, loaded. And there's 44 parts, about 60,000 per part to 160,000 pieces per part. It's a very high volume. So, it started in the back of my mind, like, man, if we could get automation to work, this would be it. It didn't work out on the last one. I really want to try it, but I definitely had some pushback from everybody here saying it's never going to work. This is a harder part to load than the medical part.
Billy, you just named everything that I wanted to cover because it makes sense. The size of the job, the fact that we're competing, how much you're trying to get done. So we had to create that confidence. You built that confidence. You heard from a group called Productive Robotics.
Yep.
I see you have Wall-E right there. Great movie, by the way.
Absolutely.
You and I are both daughter parents.
Oh, yeah.
So we had to have watched it. But
Oh.
you've now jumped into this world. And I believe being price competitive was the first introduction for you to say, okay, I can maybe give this a try again. Is that kind of the domino effect of how you started to incorporate these cobots?
Yeah, absolutely. We, I initially said we had $150,000 to get that up and going. By the time it was over with, I had $200,000 in this industrial robot that sat in a corner for 10 years. And that was a waste of money. I would love to have that money back, so it sat. So, I knew we needed some automation. I was, worried about wasting another $250,000, and I get a cold call from Productive Robotics. And I'm giving the guy, I was just in a mood, and I was giving him a little bit of a hard time. And because I just, heard it, seen it, and just wasn't interested. And then at the end, he ends up giving me what the price is. And I was like, I'm not a salesman. I don't want to tell you how you do your job. But next time, lead with the price. Because I would have had I apologize for my tone. Let's talk now. And so that's what it was. It was a great price, and I couldn't afford not to try it.
Lead with that next time. Lead with that next time for everyone who's watching. Start with that, start with that. So now they've got your attention. You decided you're going to give it a go.
Yep.
It's a 3 or 4 week time frame of getting this thing up and going. You said, you know what, we got to get moving. Let's give our friends over at Absolute a call. And a friend of ours, Jeff, comes into the facility.
Oh, yeah.
And how quickly do you get started, and what happens after Absolute comes in?
Oh, yeah. So Absolute, I think the key is you have to have a great, vendors and great partners to make your shop successful. And we do so much volume. Now, we partner with the brass mills, and, I have confidence in my product because I have confidence in my supplier to supply that. And that was something that was lacking in our automation is, I have, there's some other stories too I could go on of other integrators coming in, and it just didn't work out. So it's failure after failure. And, Productive Robotics calls me, they tell me this price, I want it. We get the cobot in, and it's probably 3 or 4 weeks we try to do it ourselves. We ended up, I don't believe in having the cobot hit the cycle start button. That's just wasted time. The cobot opening the door, that's wasted time. So we're trying to integrate that. We got the foot pedal to go. It's open and closing the collet, and we called it quits. So I called Productive and was like, who is somebody? We need some help. We need to get y'all in here. So they gave us Absolute machine tools, and just a few weeks they were down here. And again, people in my shop at Screwmatics had no confidence in it. We were just, it's like, this isn't going to work.
We're now repeating what we did 10 years ago.
Exactly.
Oh,
so
gosh.
We weren't a little prepared. We just had one machine set to the side. We put the cobot in the corner because we couldn't get it to integrate. And they come in, and we move the cobot in front of the machine, and within an hour and a half, he's got this whole thing integrated. And I was like, oh man, we're wasting this guy's time. I gotta get the other machine. So we moved the other machine in place, and by the end of the day, he's got both machines integrated and the program's written, and now we're just doing some training on it. So it was literally one day. Now he ended up staying 2.5 days just because I wanted extra training, and I wanted him to see some other projects we have.
Billy, I hear this story, and I know what you're referring to as a cobot that's actually sitting behind the cameras right now, and that one was set up. You said got it done in an hour, but I see 2 more here as well. So now what I'd love to talk about is we've gone over the frustration. We've gone over the lack of confidence. We've gone over implementing a cost-effective solution and bringing in an integrator to make it work productively, efficiently, effectively. What does the future look like with your automation? Do you now have the confidence? Do your team members have the confidence? Do you look forward to implementing more and more of these around your 160,000 and growing square feet here at Screwmatics?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, we started with this one that's behind the cameras, and this is a medical part, very high volume. This over 1 million parts a year. It's one operation on Swiss, and then there is a very fine, complicated thread. And it's wild that we picked that part because it's very complicated. The thread, the start of the thread is 2-start thread. It has to be oriented to the flat that's on the part. And that's a very complicated thing to load. It has to be loaded accurately. And everybody was like, even if you get it integrate, it's not going to load it that accurate. And within about 2 weeks, there was 0 scrap. It ran almost 400 parts more, or 200 parts more per day. And then I ran it a second shift, so I got 400 more parts. And no scrap. Everything's great. Started getting some believers, you know. And then it was a no-brainer. We need 2 more of these because I had this other project that we're looking at right here. This is the one with the 44 different part numbers, very high volume. And again, we're blanking them off on screw machines. We got humans loading these things, and the volumes are. I need a second shift. In rural America, we only have 2,700 people here in this town. We got some big industry, and I can't get a second shift. Post-COVID, I have not had a second shift since COVID, and I have desperately needed one. Now I have one. I have about 15 machines I run on Swiss bar feeds, and now I have 4 machines run on robots, cobots. And so that's what it is. As soon as this proved itself in 2 weeks, and then I did the math and saw how much more it was getting, like we're buying 2 more of these right now. So we bought 2 more, and probably by the end of the day, now that they're here, you know, I'm probably going to order 2 more, doing this exact same, just a different part number. And then probably by the end of the year, I'm expecting another 2 to 4 more, just adding 2 and 2 and 2. And you see our philosophy is we put this behind, we put it beside a cell of 2 machines. So 1 cobot's running 2 machines. And I had other integrators tell me, like, you're setting yourself up for failure with the complicated medical part and trying to do 2 machines at once. And with Absolute Machine Tools, we had it running in a day. And we hadn't had to touch it since.
I'd make the discussion that you're setting yourself up for success, Billy.
Absolutely.
I think that not for failure, for success. And this is the confidence that we all need. I want to clarify one thing as we wrap up this conversation, Billy. And it's something you've already mentioned. It's something both you and I know, but it's also probably a conversation that the audience might be having with themselves right now. And that's the ability of a human versus a cobot to do things faster, and yet you're doing 200 more a day. Now, if you and I were to have a race on these machines, we would beat the cobot.
Oh, absolutely.
We would win.
Yep.
We can literally move quicker than these things can, do load and unload. We can do that. But it's more about that extra time in the evening. It's more about not taking those breaks. It's more about not having to call in sick with our kids or whatever. That's kind of the full incorporation of where this better efficiency comes from at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah, so, you know, I've been to IMTS, I've been to all these shows, and you see these cobots, and they are slow. Like, I think, like, what idiot would buy one of these?
Yeah.
They're slow. But the fact of the matter is, like you said, whenever the cobot does not take breaks, and, you know, somebody comes by and they, you know, make a comment on somebody's shoes they're wearing, they take 3 seconds out where the machine might be stopped, and they sit here and tell them about, oh yeah, I've got this from here, and they have a side 2-minute conversation, no big deal, but that makes a big difference in your end-of-day production. And the cobot never stops to talk, it never takes a break, never has to go to the bathroom, and doesn't take a lunch break, doesn't get hungry. And because of that, we're immediately first day, and I was shocked. I just thought, it's going to be a little slower, but at least I can have the machine running instead of sitting because I can't get any workers in the door. But to my surprise, wow, it's making 200 more parts a shift than what the human was. And I'm not knocking the operators. I have great operators here. And the fact that it was making 200 more parts from the guy who was running it and the same machine beside it, that's impressive because he is one heck of a worker. You can't find people like him on the street every day. He is an excellent worker, but for the robot to catch that up and beat that, it's a no-brainer. Game changer.
When we do this, we see it firsthand how it works. So that's why I wanted to have this conversation with you guys and gals out there. Thank you all for watching. This is Screwmatics. If somebody wants to learn more about Screwmatics, Billy, where can we find more of you?
Yeah, so go check us out on our website, www.screwmatics.com. And you'll see, you know, we've been here. I'm second generation in this business, been here 36 years. I'm 35, I was born right into it. We started with, you know, 2 little Brown and Sharp machines, and now we're 110 employees, over 200 machines from Swiss machines, twin spindle Nakamuras, milling machines, and gang tool Doosan's, Lynx. We have such a wide variety of different machines. We can meet so many different demands and parts and capabilities.
In all sorts of different industries as well.
Absolutely.
I've gone through your
Yep.
demo area. I mean, beautiful in all
Oh,
sorts
yeah.
of different industries. So if you're looking for that partner out there, I can say firsthand on behalf of MTDCNC as well, check these guys out. Check Billy out. He's 35. Maybe by the time you see this video, he'll be a little bit younger. Who knows? But he's 35 years old. The company's been around 36 years, and this is the type of company you can rely on and partner with for those parts that you're looking to get done effectively, efficiently, and productively, as you can see with the help of Absolute Machine Tools as well. Thank you all for watching MTDCNC. We'll see you all again soon.